Hello there. Welcome to another episode. This is Vinod Narayan. Today, I'm coming to you with a book, Option B. Option B is a book by Sheryl Sandberg and Adam Grant. Adam Grant is one of my favorite authors I've read since I read his originals. Sheryl Sandberg had written the book Lean In before. I've not read Lean In, but this is the first book I'm reading of Sheryl Sandberg. She's also the CEO of Facebook. If you remember, about few years back, Cheryl lost her husband Dave. It was in the news. She had written a Facebook post after that, which became viral. And this book, Option B, Facing Adversity, Building Resilience, and Finding Joy, is a story about how Cheryl looks at life around her, how she's coping up with a personal tragedy. And it's written both by Cheryl and her friend Adam. They together write this book. They look at what is happening around us and how different people cope up with personal tragedies, and how do they, where do we as human beings get that ability to move forward in life and finding joy. So I have a special interest in this book because as I was reading the book and I was reading what Cheryl went through as Dave died and the days after that, and how she was getting back to work, how the uncertainties of the future that she had when she thought about her kids, when she thought about how Dave would miss every single aspect of their kids. It took me back into my own life because my dad died when I was 15, and my mother was pretty young, and me and my sisters, she brought us up to what we are today. And there was a lot of things that Cheryl says in this book that I could connect very personally with. And it is not just about Cheryl's story, it's also the story about how people forge ahead in even with so much adversities that is thrown at them. And what I want to do is that I want to read one or two paragraphs of the book. Hope that's okay. I don't know whether I can read from the book without asking Cheryl and Adam, but I think the whole idea is that I want if anyone has not read the book, I hope this would be an opportunity for them to go to the library or go to one of the bookstores and buy it. This is something that she wrote in page 82. It's in the chapter Bouncing Forward. So she says something that's very interesting. It struck with me. It is the irony of all ironies to experience tragedy and come out of it feeling more grateful. Since I lost Dave, I have at my fingertips this unbelievable reservoir of sadness. It's right next to me where I can touch it, part of my daily life. But alongside that sadness, I have a much deeper appreciation for what I used to take for granted: family, friends, and simply being alive. That gratitude that people have when you know that you're alive. Sometimes you have to go face to face with the the existence of death. You have to know what are the things that you can lose. And you look around and you find that there are so many people with much worse adversities than what you are in, and still they have a smiling face and they move forward. She also quotes Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a couple of times in the book. And there is something that Viktor Frankl talks about in his book is about how what pain is. Pain is like gas, is what he says, and it can it does not matter what is the amount of gas. If you put it into a chamber, it fills the entire chamber. So even if our pain is small or our pain is big, the quantity of pain doesn't matter. That pain goes all over our body. It's completely in our body. That's why most of the time we feel our pain to be the most unbearable compared to someone else's pain. It's not the quantity of pain. It's just because we are impacted, we are affected by our pain. And Cheryl very, very honestly talks about that. Cheryl says, when she is brooding, she's kind of sad about now Dave is not there. What's going to happen to the kids? How are they going to grow up and all those things? And then one thing Cheryl realizes is that she doesn't have a financial problem. She's well off from a finance perspective. Imagine those so many thousands of single mothers who are there out there in this world, millions of, not thousands of, and many of them have a financial struggle. They don't have enough money to take care of it. Maybe the only breadwinner in the house is who left them, and and Cheryl finds that she's much better off when it comes to uh, that kind of situation. But even then, the pain doesn't reduce. But she's able to connect and she's able to look at what's happening around her. And I think that's very important, not just in this kind of a tragedy, but any time when you look at your life and say, I should have been dealt with a better card, then I think you need to look deeper into yourself and around you to see how other people are living as well. I want to read one more thing, and this is very interesting because this is a technique that she used because every Adam asked her to write some of the good things that she did or she accomplished every day. At the end of the day, go ahead and write down 5 or 6 things that she did well that day. And she's talking about that. For 6 months, almost every night before I went to bed, I made my list. Since even the most basic tasks were hard, I started with those. Made tea, got through all of my emails, went to work, and focused for most of one meeting. None of these were heroic accomplishments, but that little notebook by my bed served an important purpose. It made me realize that for my entire life, I'd gone to bed thinking about what I'd done wrong that day, how I'd messed up, what wasn't working. Just the act of reminding myself of anything that had gone wrong, just the act of reminding myself of anything that had gone well was a welcoming shift. So so she says that till that point she always goes to bed thinking, oh, this thing did not happen properly. This thing I could have changed it. I could have done this better. But then for 6 months when she started putting down the simple things that she did, not major accomplishments, but simple things that she was able to do well, it made a very welcoming shift for her. And I think we and she and it's not what I'm saying. It's also written in the book is about our primitive instincts that we we have this we remember the negative things more than the positive things in our life. And I think maybe the reason for that is because if we remember the negative things that happened to us, then we would not go and fall into that same pit again. But it's important for us to have a conscious effort to see what's positive happening in our life. You don't have to go through personal tragedies like that of what Cheryl went through and the examples of what she gives in the book. But we all can, because we can't, some of the tragedies that happen, we cannot avoid them. It just happens. We should not blame ourselves. So she has broken the book into an interesting set of chapters. I'll just read the 10 chapters that she has. After the introduction, they go into breathing again, kicking the elephant out of the room. So there's an elephant in the room, and you kick that elephant out of the room. The platinum rule of friendship, how friendship really matters. Self compassion and self confidence about not feeling guilty for what happened to you. Bouncing forward, taking back joy, raising resilient kids, finding strength together, failing and learning at work, to love and laugh again. I think option B should be if you're thinking what is the next book to write, I'm sorry, what is the next book to read, even to write. I think we all should try to write. So next book to read, get option B. Thank you. I'll come again with another book or another video. I don't know. Okay. Take care. Bye.